So yeah, this whole section is entirely optional to do at this point. There is no real pressing reason to ever actually come to Rhombus Square. But it's a really good idea. Crossworlds has a version therapy.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think that was progress?
Sounds about right. This looks a whole lot more interesting than it is. I guess I should note that I like that you can see Newcomer's Bridge on this map, and I guess there's a giant harbour, that all this stuff looks interesting, but I assure you, Rhombus Square is very, very boring from a exploration perspective. These are literally the only 3 fast travel points that you can go to, and one of them is literally just the one we've just seen. There is nothing on the east side. Honestly, this whole place screams cut content. I can only assume there is going to be an enormous expansion in the DLC. Because for the big climactic endgame final destination town, it's kind of a letdown. Which is not to say that the whole place is boring and that there's nothing here, because there's good stuff here. I'm just saying it's kind of weird, right?
I don't know. This sounds about right for the expectations that have been set. It both in the our MMO is in early access, and also for being a completely optional town at the end of the game.
All good points, well made. I'm just saying, I kind of feel like there ought to have been more here than there actually was. Most of what actually is here is just random conversations from... So, okay, technically, we've been seeing a whole bunch of players running around, and sometimes we can talk to them and overhear them doing stuff, but it turns out that this is very much the intention of the game, that we're seeing the same groups of people playing the game alongside us. So most of the people that we see in all the various places are supposed to be playing in parallel along with us. And we just see them progress the whole way. Sometimes that's really obvious, like with the lady who's afraid of heights. Other times, Speaking of little arcs that have been going on the whole game, we finally got the last one of whatever the hell these are. And I guess, on reflection, actual strong AI technology has managed to briefly manifest itself in this little corner of space, so I guess someone saw this coming. Also, yes, I know nobody didn't think that there would be chests. Rhombus Square isn't really egregious for this stuff. There's not a whole lot. The jumps aren't very bullshit. Most of it's pretty straightforward, actually.
I like that you went through all the trouble to do that platforming, and then Emily and Shriny just literally teleported over to you.
Yeah. Once one of us gets over there, the party leader can just bring everyone else along.
They took one look at all that and were like, you know what? Nah, I'm good, actually. You go do it. Yeah,
that all seems like a pain. I can relate. Also, yep, here's this joke again. I'm honestly kind of curious to, like, what would have been the fishing minigame in Crossworlds. I remain very glad that we're not seeing it, as discussed, but can't stop me wondering. So yeah, as I was saying, most of the players that we see are the same group of players playing along with us. We just see them again and again, and they're all going through the game, and the stuff that they're saying is changing based on their context in the game. And they all end up here, and now a lot of them have thoughts on the game as a whole. Remembering, of course, to keep in mind that they didn't have the interesting diversion in the middle that we had. So there is that. But yeah, this place and its limitedness does kind of work as a coda to at least the Crossworlds content of the game. The implication being, of course, that now that we're here, once we're done with the side quests, there is nothing left but the CrossCode content. Which is, ominous. Anyway, as for the actual layout of this place, there's like 6 screens. Most of them aren't complicated, but there are a couple of branching paths that you can explore around and find, and some of them are not fully obvious. We are still going to have to do some creative platforming. Also, you can enter this shop, it's weirdly difficult to see, but it's here. You know, I think that might have been a backer NPC.
Now what would possibly give you that idea?
No, just a hunch. I guess I should say at this point that for as much as I joke about this, there has been at least one occasion in the commentary recorded in which I have mistaken a backer NPC for an NPC that was just, like, straight up part of the game originally. I'll leave it as an exercise to figure out which one that was. But there was at least one. Anyway, Dakar's been showing up in literally every city, so he might as well show up here. He is the only quest that comes out of Rhombus Square. and in keeping with the pattern, he wants us to find and murder a secret boss in Sapphire Ridge. I think I said before in the Sapphire Ridge videos that there are a couple of hidden passages there that are more like straightforwardly hidden than the rest of the bamboo stuff. This one hints at one of them. Possibly you might have seen it when we were there, but you probably didn't. And that's how you're supposed to find it. Anyway, we need to cross the street, but all the bridges are out, so we're gonna have to go the hard way. I mean, I guess we could have walked out to the west and just taken a few steps down and come back in from the other side, but like, where would have been the fun in that?
I mean, if you have an excuse to put a little bit of Frogger into your game, then frankly, you should.
A random trivia note here. The in-game stats menu, as you can imagine, logs a number of different outcomes that can happen while you're playing the game, one of which is the number of ways in which you self-destruct, and by which means, and how many times by each means. And it says, like, here's the ones by water, by fire stuff, by bottomless pits, etc, etc. And one of them that's in there and is visible and counted from the very beginning of the game is by highway. But this is the only place in the game where you can actually die by highway. And I don't know why they bothered logging it like that.
Look, man, I've played early access games before. You don't need to tell me that your roadmap is bullshit.
Woof. I mean, that's happened with some, like, notionally complete AAAs that I can think of. More to the point, though, I just think it's nice that we get a context in which a game can talk openly about what to do with that feeling when you finish a game and it's just like, man, what do I do with my life now? We all know this feeling. Don't pretend to me that you don't. It is universal. And the bigger the game you finish, the worse it is. Don't jump down from this rooftop just yet. There's a whole extra mess of stuff up here. Tronny? So yeah, more pretty blatant insert NPCs, although I feel like this is definitely a reference to something that I'm not aware of. Unfortunately, I cannot comment further.
Yeah, I feel like that one is like just close enough that you could absolutely, like, that one has just enough plausible deniability to be like, oh, this is a mascot for Crossworlds or some shit like that.
Something like that.
Look at our cute little computer robot man.
Tronny, of course, has a response to that comment, and Emily has a response to Tronny's response. And I thought maybe Apollo and Jern would as well, also random tile error there. Also random extra hidden thing. Don't miss this, we need it. So yeah, I thought Apollo and Jern would have more comments to add, there would like be a whole range of this stuff, but nope. Once again, it is literally 100% Emily and Tronny. for the additional content. I really, really hope the DLC addresses this imbalance.
Ah, I see, now we can make plus 10 weapons. Very good.
Whole bunch of stuff in this game where you have no idea what the hell it is, except that it's definitely going to be used to craft something. And yeah, that random hidden secret thing up there is the last plant in the game. I mean, of course those things count for botany percentage. Why would you ever assume that these obvious artificial things, found exclusively in cities, would not be considered as plants? That of course unlocks the final opportunity for us to go and talk to Tala Tulips, which we'll be doing later. This screen is enormous, and I don't really understand why. I mean, there is stuff here, there's just not very much. Also, there's this guy and his comments, but you'd think that he would respond somehow to you doing the exact thing that he's like hinting that you do, but nope. Anyway, Rhombus Square has an arena. The arena definitely has a lot of content. We are going to be showing that actually in the next video, but strictly speaking, on the playthrough I actually went there right after doing this stuff. But there turned out to be a lot more of it that I wanted to show than I could really fit into this video, so that's going to be in the next video. This one is really more about just exploring the place. And yep, here's a building with a conspicuous second floor, so I don't have to tell you. But don't jump down now. Or, you know, do jump down, but you'll have to come back up here again. I'm actually not sure it's actually any slower than just jumping back. But hey, the point is, there's a whole extra chain of stuff. I mean, I did show you that treasure chest out in the water. The jumping stuff here is not spectacular. It's pretty much just, well, like everything else to do with this place, it's just a little coda. It's like a little jumping puzzle victory lap round. But yeah, all of the real shit was back in Sapphire Ridge. We've pretty much graduated that now. Why can you not run through these hedges? Like, come on.
They're too close together.
Environment designers.
Too close together. Simply cannot be done.
Environment designers, I'm going to be having words with you.
So next you're going to tell me that you think that it is unrealistic that our characters could not get over a fence that is vaguely as high as they are.
Ah, invisible walls are legit. For jumping over stuff, not for walking between stuff. You've got to telegraph that stuff. There's a whole visual language that video games have developed, even in like the 20 or 30 years in real life, to say nothing of the literally thousands of years in this continuity. Speaking of the canonical CrossCode universe, Yes, so everyone keeps calling this planet Shadoon, but that's actually an in-game name. The actual name of this celestial body is the Raritan Gem. Just fun fact for you all. Also no, we absolutely did not need to jump on the cars to reach that chest, but I believe I have elaborated before that it's just fun. Finally, this is the screen that you're probably going to care about when you come to Rhombus Square. It's the one with the shops in it. Also a surprising amount of content in the cafes opposite. Not that we can actually engage with any of these establishments, they're literally just here as places to dump a lot of players into. I'm sorry, did somebody ask to have a name said to them? Because that is a service we provide.
So let's just conveniently leave out the part where we're definitely not inserting ourselves into somebody else's D&D campaign.
Oh no. It's a wholly original conceit of a story in which a character totally isn't self-inserting himself into another story inside the game. God, I've lost track of how many levels this is on. Here's a very important shop. They only sell one thing, and it's the chest detector. We are definitely gonna need this. I think I mentioned before, it works exactly the same way as the mining equipment detector, except it responds to chests rather than random quest content. It is pretty essential. Regrettably, or possibly thankfully, Crossworlds is not Skyrim. It doesn't have a thievery subsystem. It does, however, have a character creator, apparently. Yet another one of the in-game systems that we're, ironically, prevented from ever seeing. Now, I believe I mentioned about 58 or so videos ago that CrossCode does not have level scaling. And I stand by that comment. It's pretty much true, but what it does have is a series of items that you can get that will just change the levels of every enemy in a given overworld to be like 50 to 60 something.
It has a bonfire aesthetic. Yeah. It's, you know what I mean.
Mechanic.
The thing from Dark Souls 2, you know what I mean.
It has to do things stuff, the stuff that makes the game engine do things. Those things. Notably, to craft these things, we need a smattering of ordinary rare items, a shit ton of credits, and the unique crafting item found in each area. That is what those are for. I am eventually going to get all of these, it's just going to require a little bit of grinding, which, you know, I'm going to do off camera. But I will be getting all of these, and we will be availing of the newly powered up enemy hordes. You know, the man raises a valid concern. Still though, if you do want the generic if effective, in Rhombus Square you can buy laser equipment. It has absolutely nothing interesting about it except very high numbers, and one of those high numbers is the price tag. Literally over 100,000 credits per item. Good Christ. I'm just gonna go ahead and not with those. The stuff that you're actually interested in is up here. This screen is the screen in which you get the real shit. Just a whole bunch of stupid good equipment up here. Some of it we can even get immediately because there's a couple of the highest tier crafting items just lying around. But for the most part, in order to get literally anything from here, you need gemstones, and gemstones drop exclusively from boosted enemies. So yes, it is a little bit of a grind, figuratively and literally, to get this stuff, but the stuff is good. By the way, if you ever notice me picking up a crafting item that just seems esoteric and has a golden icon and just has a unique vibe around it, chances are it's used in this room. Also, a decent amount of this stuff is actually upgrades for, like, previously existing equipment. There's a whole bunch of it. Needless to say, we're gonna be coming back to this room.
Oh, I see. This is where the game just kind of screams at you, hey, you can do different builds!
Do you like builds? Do you like putting modifiers on your stuff? Well, have we got the game for you? And guess what? You've already been playing it for 30 hours. Honestly though, the way in which the game doles out stuff makes it so that you're never so much given a whole bunch of options at once and have to choose, as just the fact of playing through the game and getting new equipment as it becomes available causes you to just cycle through a whole bunch of different options, and there aren't really a whole lot of points at which the game says, right, you can now commit to a build and stick with it just for the rest of the game from here on out. Because there's always just random better stuff that you're just finding lying around all the time. So honestly, it's not really until you hit the end that they can really do this kind of a shout out.
That is definitely a face that this guy has.
Yeah. It's like the guys outside said, some people just should not be allowed to create characters. I am very curious about the Crossworld's character creator. I really could stand to know exactly what it does and doesn't allow you to do. Anyway, in its continuous mission to be the last town that you ever actually need to go to, Rhombus Square also has the Backer Shop. And also, Rhombus Square has Buyland, in which you can find traders who will replicate basically every trade deal for consumables that you can find anywhere else in the game. Except, I think, for the handful of traders in Verdeville who give you the really cheap deals. Those guys are still worth coming back to, I think. I don't know, I haven't cycled through all of these and tabulated the different recipes for spice sets. I can't be asked. I might be wrong. I'll take my chances. The point is, there's basically no need to visit any other town. Anyway, I decided to hang out on this bridge for no real reason. I'm kidding, the reason was to jump down onto this drifting car. Why not? Any questions?
You know, I don't even really know what to say to that one.
I didn't think so.
It's less that I don't have questions and more like I don't even know what one could meaningfully ask.
What would be the point? What would be the point of questioning that? Anyway, this is a sneaky one. I don't really like the points in Rhombus Square where you have to jump between cars. I feel like it's just barely too difficult to actually time your jumps onto oncoming cars on account of you can't see them in time and you kind of have to half guess it. Anyway, that's it. That's all of Rhombus Square. There are a whole ton of, nope, access denied barriers just lying around. But only a couple screens of actual content, and I don't know how I feel about it. Other than, I do like the stuff that actually is here.
Like I said, it is perfectly in keeping with how the game has presented Crossworlds.